Howdy, and welcome back to the channel. You got Digital Asset Hutch here, bringing you all the know about the crypto and US economy space. And if you could go ahead, drop a like and subscribe below, because this is our 4-week anniversary, as you can see from the title, and we will be going in on what is started this Bitcoin pump at the start of the year. We'll kind of follow up on that Djed conversation from 2 videos ago, since y'all really did enjoy that content, and then we'll go ahead and close out with the unemployment data that got released today and kind of see where Bitcoin's market cap stacks against other companies' assets of the world. So if you do enjoy the content, go ahead and but let's go ahead and dive in. As you can see here, Bitcoin is kind of claiming that 1 trillion market cap that we were looking at about a week ago. It looks like we have officially kind of flipped that as support, but it isn't confirmed yet because we do still need to spend some time above it before we can officially call that. And as you can see here with some of the prices, we are still up pretty high yield year to date, which is kind of the important thing to focus on right now, because ultimately we aren't going to go up forever and a correction is in sight somewhere. And as you can see, we might have been starting that correction because we have kind of recently gone flat into what could be actually considered a bull flag, and we will be talking about that at the end of the video. And I also do want to highlight Michael Berry thinks we should also be selling right now, but after we got that data for the federal funds rate, he then deleted his account and he is no longer to be found. And he tweeted that a sell around right here, and we did have a flash class down before absolutely pumping. So I did just want to throw that humor in there for y'all. And as you can see here with that CBBI, let's go ahead and get it updated. We are at 15. So this is always something to pay close attention to. I did show y'all this website, so if you did miss that, go ahead and watch the top 5 free resources, because it does highlight how you can customize it to your liking. But ultimately, what did get this pump going for Bitcoin? Now, they say there's not really an event, and like I did say before, we did have some flight delays or get grounded right before the initial pump. Now, I'm not saying that is the main reason for it. I'm just saying that could be the initial pump that got people talking about it, and now, as this document states, they think that it's mainly United States institutions buying it. So what they kind of do in this article is break it down, and they look at the times they saw the most fluctuation in Bitcoin's price, and they noticed the biggest times of increase in Bitcoin's price was during the United States trading markets hours, as you can see here, and actually during the times it was decreasing was during Asian retail traders hours or Asian institutional hours. They do say retail sellers here, but I don't know how they can confirm whether it was Asian retailers or Asian institutions just based off of that time. And if you can kind of scroll down here, one of the members over at Fidelity in their digital assets group, because Fidelity has been making waves in this field. So I would be kind of focusing your attention on them to see what they're doing, because I know they were trying to put some ETFs out there in the past, but now it looks like they did recently launch Bitcoin trading on their platform for retailers. So just kind of pay attention to what they're saying, and it looks like they're experts in their research, can't really identify it to one thing. And I do think that's true. I think that that flight's kind of got people talking about could it have been Bitcoin, and then as you've seen here, we've just had that pump since, and I can most definitely see how institutions are kind of, you know, overtaking those Asian retail sellers, as you can tell from that graph. So I do think that is true, that we can't say it is one thing, because it is ultimately a lot of different things that is pushing that price up, with that Djed announcement, with what XRP is doing in the health industry, with all of these bad actors officially leaving the scene. It looks like there is now more trust that is being built between just exchanges, just the retail buyers, institutions. It looks like that, claim that everyone was waiting for regulations isn't really a case. That was just people saying that while they were still building stuff behind the scenes. So I did mention that Djed, and let's go ahead and kind of follow up our coverage on that. And as you can see here, with the release of Djed, it actually decreased 50% of the fees, which is a definite positive because, like I did highlight in that video about 3-4 days ago, this is a main use case for like bringing businesses and now widespread adoption for goods and services. And how you kind of know that is because Cody is designated to design things on the ecosystem for enterprises. And essentially what Cody was made to is it is an enterprise crypto solutions company, and they are trying to make it easier for these enterprises to build on the ecosystem, which is why they did release this Djed stablecoin. Now, we did mention that Djed was 400% backing, and as you can see, that has changed since the video, and we're coming in at around 400 to 800%. So the collateralized backing for the stablecoin has actually increased, I wouldn't say exponentially, but a very good amount since the last video, which can only show more trust in that coin itself. I hope that that can kind of take away some of the negative instances or some of the negative thoughts on stablecoins. Now let's kind of go ahead and pull up the charts, because as you can see here, Bitcoin, ever since the announcement of Djed, which Djed got announced roughly around Thanksgiving. That was around one of its official announcements that it was coming. It didn't actually get released till the beginning of this week, but as you can see, when it did get announced, that's typically when we were bothering. And now that one of the main enterprise solutions companies for a big adoption announced this stablecoin, we kind of saw a pump. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that this is related to Djed. We can go to Cardano's graph over here if we really want to look to see how that correlation was. And when it got announced, it was actually right in this area. So we did have a steep decline before we actually officially started pacing upwards, and they did announce that Djed was on track right around in this time frame. So you can see just the exponential growth we've had since them confirming that it will be announced when it was supposed to. Because back here we just got word of, oh, they're planning on releasing a stablecoin. Right around this time frame, they actually said, yes, it's on track and it will happen officially. So I kind of wanted to point that out, as well as just look at everything that is being built on the Cardano or Djed and the Cody ecosystem. So it just got released this week, and we already have DEXs, we already have a launch pad, we have gaming trying to come to it. So this will definitely be something to keep your eye on, because I did show that Cardano ecosystem, and this is looking a little bit bigger than the one from 2 to 3 years ago that I pulled off of Reddit. So if you didn't actually go check that out, go to my video 2 to 3 days ago and see the ecosystem, because I have a feeling that Djed will be not looking exactly like Cardano's, but you might see 3 or 4x of the actual apps being built on it. And how do I kind of know this is affecting Cardano's ecosystem? Well, as you can see here, we're almost hitting our head on that 14 billion market cap. And before they announced it, if we want to go and take a snapshot in time, you can go here, cryptocurrencies, historical snapshot. Let's go ahead and scroll, because it was around that Thanksgiving time that I did mention to y'all. And if you look here, Cardano's only coming in at 10 billion 750 million. So as you can see, that is, we'll call it a 3 billion increase just from that announcement, which is huge for the industry. It just shows more money is flowing in. So going back to that article of what started it, I don't think one thing did, but I think now we are beginning to see a lot more of this bullish news starting to affect the market, which that does typically show that a change is here and a reversal did happen. Now, lastly, to close out the video, I do want to go ahead and highlight that U.S. labor data that did come out. So let's kind of go ahead and look at that because that is important to know for just the overall macroeconomics. Because if you don't know what's happening in just your own economic situation, then how are you going to be able to invest in assets? So as you can see here, the employment actually is rising, so that is good. That is showing that the unemployment is going down, but it's not going down that much. It does look like we could have potentially bottomed, because if you do look at some of this other data, you can see here that teenagers are one of the higher unemployment sectors. So that's just kind of a good to see, because before, when we were still in that pandemic area, even teens and adults were kind of not the same, but there was a lot higher in that adult category. And as you can see here, it is changing by a little, which is a little concerning to me. But what was even more concerning is that employment participation rate. So why is participating in it so important? Well, there can be open jobs. Now, is it people going and actually taking those jobs? Because that could just show, is the government giving them too much money to where they don't need to work? Are they still living off of those stimulus checks? And ultimately, by them deciding not to work, they don't get a paycheck. And why does that matter? Well, we just talked about why the federal funds rate had to increase, because there's so much money in the economy. Well, also one of the ways that can flip and how they can take money out is if people are working in the economy, they get paychecks. Now what happens? Uncle Sam takes a chunk of money out of that paycheck. So that's another possible way that they can take money out of the economy, is if the workforce is high, they could possibly raise income taxes, or with more people entering, it's just naturally that they're going to go spend out money. Some of the money they spend will get taken out of sales tax and also sent back to Uncle Sam or your own governing body. So that's why it's important to pay attention to this unemployment data, because essentially it can stimulate money leaving the economy, which will ultimately deflate it, causing prices to decline. So as you can see here, with the participation rating that I am concerned about, ultimately it's only gone up 0.02% in the last year. Now, if we go ahead and we look at those pre-pandemic highs, let me go ahead and pull that up. Sorry, that's a different document. If we do go ahead and pull up those pre-pandemic highs, we were going in at 63% before we officially started going down, before that scare happened. So I do think if we can get that 0.6% increase, that is a lot of people. The percents do look small, but you have to think we're talking about millions of people. So only a 0.06 could talk about hundreds of thousands of people. So if we do get back there, I do think that will also take out a lot of money, which could mean a premature pausing of those Fed rates, which I think this is the data they're looking for, and I think they are focusing in this participation rate. And then lastly, to finally close it out, just to show y'all some hope, if you did follow me on Twitter, you might have seen this, but Bitcoin did officially break into the top 15 again in total market cap of all assets. We have a 3 billion cushion, but as you can see here, Bitcoin's trending up the last 7 days and ExxonMobil's trending down, as well as they are targeting the gas industry to try to get those prices down, so you could see them go down a little bit more. As well as this tech company, I believe, I'm not sure what exactly they do. They're down. Well, they wouldn't be a tech company because tech is actually booming of recent. But as you can see here, they're trending down as well. So I could definitely see Bitcoin flipping them in the near future. Now, I want to leave y'all with this one last question, and I personally think the top of Bitcoin will come at the end of 2025. So what do you think this chart will be looking like at the end of 2025? I do know some of these companies might have some Bitcoin already, so it might be hard to flip them, but some of these others, it could possibly see some exponential growth. And just to show you exactly where Bitcoin was at At the last peak, let's go ahead and go, and I believe it was in, we'll just call it this, 1,100,000,000,000. So just to give you an idea, that would put us roughly in the top 10 at about 8. So if you guys did enjoy today's comment or content, go ahead and drop a like. Go ahead and comment your answer of where you think we are going to rank on this list by the end of the year. And I hope you all stay safe out there. Bye bye.